Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shell Bhatnagar. Well, this is the last trading session of 2024 and it's been a lot of learning experience to witness the markets, the way they have performed throughout the course of this year. Well, of course, the benchmark indices, the Nifty and the Sensex are ending this year with about 8.5% higher, clocking in their 9th consecutive year of positive gains. And this is the longest winning streak for the Nifty in its history as well. And this was largely lifted by the institutional investors, especially the domestic mutual funds and retail investors like you and I that continue to see stronger growth in the markets and winning streak for the 9th straight year right there. Broader markets continued to perform better. Mid caps and the small caps gave nearly 24% kind of returns in this 2024. Now looking forward, of course, there'll be a whole host of events that we'll be looking forward to. But today will also be a day to reflect on the past, to look at the lessons that we've learned from the markets, and of course, look forward to a new year with a lot of hopes and aspirations. Here's wishing all of you a fantastic upcoming new year 2025. Shell is with me. Shell, good morning. You've always maintained, Shell, in our show in the mornings every Tuesday. मंगल है तो मंगलवार होगा. आज आखिरी मंगलवार है 2024 का. क्या लगता है बाजार?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think the last Tuesday will belong to the bears, and that's the cue that is coming in from overseas. And more importantly, the GIFT Nifty is pointing to two very disturbing trends. One, a gap down, and two, it's opening below the lows of December, which is 23,587. This is the fiscal responsibility report, the fiscal stability report that was taken out by the Reserve Bank of India yesterday, that sort of killed a lot of sentiment on the long side, whatever of it that was remaining. And that's the reason why you saw yesterday's sharp fall. There are news of NPAs in the unsecured part of our lending, which are going up, and that's sparked the sell-off yesterday. If Bank Nifty was down, that meant that Nifty itself would follow suit, and that is what has happened. And that's the reason why you see the Nifty on the last day of 2024 trying to make a fresh low for December. If that happens, then the next support will be the low for November, which was 23,271. That is where hopes are at the moment. 23,300 is something that needs to be watched. 23,300, 23,400, and of course 23,500. But things are not stacked up well as far as bulls are concerned on the indices. So Nifty and Bank Nifty will have a painful day. Apart from that, you have expectations of, again, choppy, volatile and light trade. There is nothing much that is happening in the markets except for certain levels. If they are breached on the upper side, you see sustained selling pressure coming in from foreign institutional investors. Yesterday we briefly touched 23,900 on the Nifty, and it was immediately met with heavy selling pressure. The Nifty collapsed till 23,650, and that is where it shut shop. Now you have a gap down because of cues that are coming in from overseas. You have a gap down because of the fiscal stability report being digested by the Reserve Bank of India and by the market veterans, and therefore you see this downdraft that is coming. So a low for December on Tuesday, and more importantly, a very, how should I say, tepid end to what has been a fantastic year for equity markets till September 27th. We'll show you a lot of data. The Nifty is up 8% so far in 2024, but it was up 21% till 27th of September. The Bank Nifty has added 5.8% in the last 12 months, and more importantly, the mid-cap Nifty and the small-cap Nifty have given stellar returns of 23% in calendar 2024. More importantly, if you look at the highs that the Nifty small cap and the Nifty mid cap index hit in September, then those returns are 33% each for these two indices. They've now also corrected about 10% from the peak. So this is how it is, ladies and gentlemen. We start 2025 on a very somber note, on a very tepid note as far as markets are concerned. But between 1st of Jan and 1st of Feb, there are about 22 trading sessions, and this will see the run up to the budget. And more importantly, you will see stocks such as IRFC, IREDA, HUDCO, which have already started their move over the last 2 or 3 days. Especially IRFC and IREDA were in top shape yesterday. You will have moves coming into railway, into fertilizer, and into select sectors that generally and traditionally have run up ahead of the budget. So this is what I'm looking at. And Sakshi, perhaps that today is the last day and it's Tuesday, you will see some kind of NAV management that will come into the system, because mutual fund will want to end 2024 on a decent note. So let's hope some short covering comes in, but I'm not very hopeful. Sakshi.
Okay, Shell. Let's look at the overnight cues then. Remember, the Wall Street stocks ended lower amid profit booking as well. So the Dow Jones lost about 0.9% yet again. S&P 500 about 1%, and the Nasdaq also about 1% odd. So 2 days of selling for the Wall Street indices is what we've already seen. Following this, the Asian markets also began today's session on a weak footing. Amid thin trade, most of the global markets are shut on account of New Year's as well. So Australia's ASX 200 is down by 0.7%. We've seen Japan, South Korea's markets are closed for New Year's Eve holiday. Hong Kong stock markets will have a shortened trading session as well. The GIFT Nifty is indicating to a gap down start, as far as what Shell has already pointed out right there. As far as the flows are concerned from overseas investors, remember they've been net sellers for the 10th consecutive session in the Indian markets, offloading stocks worth about sharply lower. They offloaded 1,893 odd crore rupees on Monday. DIIs bought about 2,173 odd crore rupees. For the last 10 days cumulatively, they have sold 24,044 odd crore rupees as far as the FIIs are concerned, and for the year thus far it's a cumulative sell-off of 1.2 lakh crore rupees. That also marks the second biggest sell-off for the FPIs in the Indian markets. We'll look at how things go on from here. We have with us Mr. Chakri Lopriya, Managing Partner of Red Strawberry LLP, now joining in to share with us his views on the markets. Warm welcome to you, Chakri. Season's greetings to you. Wish you a very, very happy upcoming 2025 for you, your family members, your friends, and also your team members at large as well. We hope that this year turns out to be a fantastic one on all accounts for all of you. And may you continue to guide our viewers on Business Today television even more, and may we see you more often on more shows of Business Today right there. I'll begin by first understanding from you, when you reflect back on 2024, what is the one thing that stood out for you for the year as an investor, and what is it that you're looking forward to in the new year 2025?
Wish you and your viewers a very happy 2025. I hope the viewers will continue to, gain from Shell's wisdom and all that you bring to the channel. And, clearly, if we look back at what has happened in 2024, we started off on a good note. And then we had the elections going in with big expectations. Those expectations were kind of dashed down with a coalition government coming into power. And that slowed down the business momentum in terms of, the capex spend. And along with that, the earnings growth rate came down. So I think probably the finance ministry, did not anticipate such a turn of events. Probably the one shortcoming is in raising capital gains taxes, because in a year, as long as the stock market returns are strong, investors don't mind to pay a higher tax rate. But when you have a year with around 8 to 10% returns, and on top of that, a 20% short-term capital gains tax takes away from the returns, which hurts an FII investor, because they also have to contend with a rupee fall. And the rupee has fallen 3-4% already this year. So which means if you take out the rupee fall versus the dollar, then the returns in the Nifty post-tax is hardly about 2 or 3%. This kind of explains the continued FII selling through the year not through the year, continued FII selling post the budget of this year. And to compound that, earnings growth slowed down. The last quarter, earnings were downgraded by about 4 or 5%, and the next quarter, which is going to start reporting in January 2025, earnings will most likely be downgraded by another 4 or 5%. So I think this in it summarizes how the year unfolded, starting off on a very strong wicket and crumbled like how the Indian batsman crumbled yesterday in the test match. So given this background, we just hope that there is an interest rate cut early in the next year, and also the government, wonder, it'll be an eighth wonder of the world if they reverse the capital gains tax.
Well, Chakri, I think you started this discussion on a good note. I don't think so that the government is listening at all. They don't care. See, they're winning elections one after the other, and you have a ready voter base which accepts everything. So, why push them to sort of make them happy by giving off a tax rebate and all? No such thing is happening. This is all just a figment of imagination of newspapers and media organizations that this government will give you a tax relief of any sort. They are only interested in popcorn and taxing insurance. Be that as it may, a very warm welcome to you. And today being the last day of 2024, we'd rather enjoy the fantastic gains that millions and millions and millions and millions of retail investors have made by very sensibly getting into the market on a monthly basis via systematic investment plans, and of course doing their bit for raising toast to the Indian growth story. It might be slowing, but we've seen such slow quarters over a period of time, and they generally disappear into oblivion over the year. So don't worry, 5.5%, it's okay. We are much better off than many, and this will improve for the better only. But Chakri, now going forward, given this fiscal stability report has sort of dented sentiment in a very bad way, where would you find value in the banking space? Of course, there is this overhang of retail NPAs now sort of coming on the front pages. Gold loans are being given again. Similar situations are being in the microfinance space. Where do you find value at this point of time in the entire banking sector?
You're absolutely right, Shell. In terms of you look out now into the future, as far as within the banking space, given that retail is kind of now evidently slowing down, not just slowing down, there are tremors that they might be NPA. So which means, all the retail-focused banks, whether it is Kotak Bank, to all the big credit card issuer banks. These are the companies, banks that I think we should likely stay away from. And the corporate-facing banks, which is, again, the PSU banks are strong. SBI, Canara Bank, name it, Union Bank, all these banks don't have such big credit card franchises, and their corporate banking book is very strong. And so I think that is the space, if anything, we should continue to look out for. And they'll also be the primary beneficiaries because government spend capex is the only spend which is still evident, with private capex still yet to pick up.
Right. Well, Chakri, I wanted to also understand from you, you were saying that, of course, the big trigger that we will be looking at is the upcoming union budget. Whether there is a tax relief or no is a matter of debate. But, for investors, is there a clear way in which investors should be approaching certain sectors ahead of the budget? Are there hopes that at least some of the segments would continue to benefit more than the others, and therefore investors can probably, focus more on certain sectors?
One at the index level, contrary to the general view, I believe that, actually the mid-cap index and the multi-cap will probably hold out better than the large cap.
Okay.
Earnings growth has actually held out better in some of the broader market. So that is point number one. Second, within sectors, export-facing sectors, IT, pharma, textiles, these companies, sectors are likely to do far better than the domestic-facing ones. And within domestic, it is the So the ones which are less dependent on short-term fluctuations of growth, which is basically again power, thermal or or green, those sector and infra. These sectors are likely to be having better earnings growth.
Okay. When we look at the third quarter, and of course the wonderful performance that has been because of pharma and IT shares, anything, Chakri, you feel still remains in the value zone as far as pharma is concerned? What would be your top pick in this outperforming sector?
Pharma as a sector has done very well in 2024. 2025, I think again, they're likely to do decently well, not as strong as 2024, which was a very strong return. And here now, so pharma has always been a stock-specific, not sector-specific approach. So therefore, companies like IPCA, now they're getting into cosmetology. They're also strengthening their base of products within the export markets. So IPCA as a company, the valuation, given its growth prospects, is still looking okay. Sun, again, its R&D is kind of paying off. And some of its export-facing products are again looking good. So I think that's the selective approach we'll do for the pharma sector.
Okay. Chakri, I also wanted to just understand from you, how do you think some of the biggest conglomerates that are listed will perform in 2025? Reliance, of course, we've seen a negative year after 10 years. It's been a negative year for sure. 5% odd or so is what we've seen as a decline on Reliance Industries this year. But Tata Group still, there has been a mixed performance there. Adani Group, that's been marred by a lot of issues this time around. How are you really looking at some of these conglomerates, and do you think investors should have a strategy towards these?
I think that's a very good point. Now, if you look at, for instance, let's take Reliance Industries to begin with. It's a sum of parts story, like we know very well, which is oil and gas business, chemicals business, retail, telecom. Now, look back at each one of these businesses. They all have had cyclical lows. Oil prices have gone all the way up, very volatile, and have trended down. So, which means the refining margins for Reliance Industries and the sector have suffered. Second, retail consumer slowdown has hurt the retail business of Reliance Industries. And telecom, that's like done its par for the course. So if you add up all these the three businesses, they're all at cyclical lows. So which means as the economy revives, Reliance Industries should do well. And third, nobody has given yet any significant valuations to its new businesses, new energy businesses of Reliance Industries. So therefore, I think if you add that up, then there is significant upside. But we need to be patient, no rush to get into Reliance. Second, Adani Group of companies have had a fair share of their fall, company specific. But now if you look back, actually growth is very intact in some of those companies. Adani Ports, one of the largest, it has 25% earnings growth versus Nifty, which is hardly about 4-5%. Adani Green is building the world's largest renewable. So I think that's the way we should approach these conglomerate companies.
Right. And Chakri, if you look at your WhatsApp, and Sakshi, you too, I have sent you some of the most important links in Delhi. These are places which are famous for Chola Bhatura, and we intend to start this show fairly soon as to the best places to have Chola Bhatura in Delhi. Chakri, this is a national dish. It is of extreme importance that we plan 2025 well. You talk about asset allocation, I talk about food allocation. And we invite you to be our first guest on this lovely Chola Bhatura tour that we are planning, Sakshi and I. And on Chola Bhatura, and of course a nice thick glass of lassi, we will be discussing where to allot money at all in 2025, whether bonds make sense, whether gentlemen will prefer equity, whether it makes sense to have a bit of puri aloo with it. Be that as it may, this is as good, if not more important, than how markets will fare in 2025. So we look forward to welcoming you. Please go in detail into these fantastic places that I've sent to you, and we look forward to your participation as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm a big fan of Chola Bhatura, and I think A tour of that would any day be more welcome from the market that we are in right now. So maybe it'll add some cheer. So thank you. Most looking
Yes.
forward.
Sakshi, would you be eating chola bhatura or will you just sort of do a video of it? I remember last time we did one, you did have
I will have.
a
I can
bhatura,
never
if I
say
remember
no to
correctly.
chola
This was ages
bhatura.
ago.
Maybe if it is 5 days of dieting and 1 day of chola bhatura, I'm okay for it.
She'll probably be more diet conscious than you and I,
With
Shell.
that solemn, yeah.
Yeah.
I am not diet conscious at all, I can assure you. But things beckon, which is the opening of the Nifty. Our PCR is firing the index in front of the screen and begging us to come back to reality. But we've extracted an online promise from you, Chakri. You will be our first guest. With that, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you, sir.
let's get back to the market and see this 104-point downtick on the Nifty at the start of play, and let us see what is bothering the index. Okay, banks will be hurt and NBFCs will be hurt today. ICICI Bank 9 rupees 15 lower, 1288. Bajaj Finance at 6870 is down 18. In the red are SBI, Axis and Kotak, down respectively 6.5, 3.3 and 6.3. HDFC Bank, what is it doing? Okay, flat as flat can be, 1778. What is Reliance doing? Flat, 1210. Now we have to keep an eye on ITC, ladies and gentlemen. This is the demerger trade that is working. 1st of Jan is the demerger date, and 3.45 higher at 480.45. Keep an eye out on this one. In play are the defensives. Hindustan Unilever 9 rupees 50 higher at 23.53. This stock has done nothing for the past 4 years. Okay, let's shift focus to what is happening in the NSE 500 space. I'd like to start with positives. RBNL 2.5% higher, 418.45. You have CESE 2% higher, 189. You have Triveni Engineering, yesterday's record high, now getting sold into, but some kind of buying happening at lower levels. A percent higher at 452. Nothing much to report here. Let's look at FNO. Atul Limited 3.6% higher, 7099. Union Bank, this is something that we're looking with great interest, 3.4% higher, 123. So we'll let these prices settle. It's a negative day for the market. Remember, December's low is 23,537. Any move before that will be met with severe selling pressure. Let's get Chakri back into the conversation and kick off the discussion on cement. Great expectations here, Chakri, that the government will kickstart its capex program, and of course cement has been in top shape for the last 2 months or so. Your top pick here?
The top picks here would be Ultratech and ACC and Ambuja. And they're the market leaders. They're the ones who are making the acquisitions, have the greatest volume share. Pricing, 10, 12 rupees has gone up across the market. Given that their market share lead on volumes, I think they'll be able to benefit the most. And because given this as a sector, the price rises have been less than the inflation adjusted increases. So against that environment, margins are unlikely to improve. Therefore, the guys with the companies with the biggest volumes will have the biggest benefit, which is Ultratech and Ambuja.
Ambuja within the cement space. Okay. Another space that I wanted to discuss with you, Chakri, is the entire consumption space. We've been seeing muted demand across the board. This is, clamoring for attention from the upcoming budget from the government as well. Of course, there have been some signs of recovery in the rural demand, but urban still is on the back foot right now when it comes to demand. How would you approach the FMCG space and the larger consumption theme in 2025?
I think consumption, I think we would probably stick to the higher end of the curve, which is, hotels, chalet hotel, Indian hotels, and now ITC hotels, I guess. But because that end of the segment still revenue growth is strong, the margins are holding up okay. At the lower end of the spectrum, I think in the mid end of the spectrum, there has been a lot of pricing pressure. The volumes have come down, margins have come down, but multiples have stayed up there. So I think we'll stay away from the FMCG, pure FMCG basket.
Okay, got that. Well, we will also
Kunal V.
introduce.
Parar.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Sakshi, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, we will also introduce Kunal V. Parar with us. He's Vice President Technical Research at Choice Equity Broking, and he's also with us. Hi, Kunal. Morning and season's greetings to you for the upcoming 2025. Tell us, what are your New Year Eve plans? Have you planned like a big, party and a bash right there? What are the plans for tonight?
Actually, no plan is there. Basically, because tomorrow market is open, and we have to be there by 8:30 in front of the screen. So no plan at all. But definitely, we will wish to our family, colleagues, and all of you to enjoy the party tonight.
Kunal, what will happen to retail GDP for Q3 if you don't spend? Eh? In your age, I used to party at 3 different parties in Delhi's cold. Huh? If you guys don't spend, how will GDP grow?
Yeah, totally agree.
You should send an air ticket to Sakshi and me. We will come and party. We will come and party with you in 2024 midnight.
Let's come to Mumbai. We'll party then.
Okay. Now let me ask. Yes, of course we will. And Sakshi, I was in Mumbai just 3 days ago, 4 days ago. I am very happy to tell you, it's not only Delhi that is suffering from visible pollution. It's equally worse in Mumbai.
Okay.
So I was very happy with the fact that you and I are not only the troubled souls. I called up everybody in Delhi. If you think you are worried, please come to Bombay. It's equally polluted. I couldn't see any building top. Everything was hazy. So it's okay. What do you talk in this kind of a market? Everything you talk, it goes down after 5 minutes, right? So it's better to discuss chula bhatura, party, and pollution. Yeah, tanga aa gaye. Acha, okay, Kunal, tell me your strongest pharma stock, and if it is not Lupin, tell me what Lupin is up to.
Two pharma stocks are there on which I have been keeping an eye. I think in the last session we were discussing about Biocon, and we seen a good upside momentum, particularly in the Biocon. But right now, I have been keeping an eye on Denmark. Right now, the way stock has been trading on a daily chart, and if you look at the based on the moving averages, I think the stock has been trading over 20 and 50 days. Not only this, stock has also given a breakout of its benchmark momentum. So I think we may see a further upside momentum in this particular counter. Right now, counter is trading somewhere around 1589. One can get into the stock at present level 1589, 1590 with strict SL somewhere around 1510. No doubt SL is at little bit bigger level, but volatility is too high, so we have to keep this SL 1510. First target that we can see it's a 1650, and if stock breaks this 1650, then further upside would be there up to the level of 1750. So we may see a good upside momentum, particularly in Glenmark. Whereas if we talk about Lupin, then Lupin right now is trading somewhere around 2310. It has given a breakout of its double bottom formation on a daily time frame. Not only this, it is trading near to its all-time high level. However, I'll say to wait for a time because stock need to sustain about 2315 level. Now let's say if stock sustain about 2315 level, then further upside we can see in the counter up to the level of 2400 to 2500. So definitely for Glenmark it's yes, and for Looping, please wait for the time being.
Okay. Well, the markets have settled in the pre-open trade, 23,560, 0.3% lower. And it's an all across the board red that you're seeing. All sectors are lower in trade, IT being the one which is probably the lowest among all, 0.8% lower, realty banks also about 0.6% lower, so it could be another day when sector-wise there could be some muted trade, but there could be just select stocks where all the action could be sustaining in the trade today. We'll come back to the specific stocks which our viewers, our guests can definitely give their views on. But Chakri, coming back to you on the themes that could really work in 2025, is there any dark horse theme or a sector that could be outperforming in 2025 that you're betting big on?
The dark horse is actually the high beta stocks like of the some of the Adani Group, for example. We
Okay.
spoke about them earlier. Adani Green, very strong growth prospects over the next 1 year. Adani Ports, market leader, 25% earnings growth. Adani Enterprises, data centers, nobody talks about that part of the business, very big. And so again, some of the parts, the stock stays at a discount. And then as the rest of IT as a sector generally will do well after, the initial scare of markets up and down. But I think IT earnings growth will be far higher than the Nifty.
Chakri, one thing I wanted to understand was your view on PSU stocks. Some of them, such as IGL, some of them just as BPCL, HP, all of them are trading in single digit PE, great cash dividends to offer, phenomenal profit that we've seen over the last 2 or 3 quarters. Is this a space which has been a good hunting ground for you over the last 3 months or so for your clients?
Yeah, all the gas stocks and the refining stocks, as we all know, have had very severe revenue and earnings downgrades, due to gas allocations, pricing, various kinds of government issues which have held them back. I don't see that changing that much. Yes, gas prices will move up and down depending upon how cold the western winters are. But outside of that, I think given the amount of regulatory pricing uncertainty, it's best to stay away in a weak market.
Okay. Kunal, to you then. I want to come to you to understand if you have spotted any stocks for our viewers for the new year, 2025. Tell us which are the stocks that you're betting big on, any 1 or 2 stocks that you can name.
Right now, a few stocks are there on which I have been betting, particularly on this for this 2025. I think first stock is Geo Finance. Right now, stock is trading at 303 level. Stock has a strong support somewhere around 290 level. I think we may see a all-time high, particularly in this new year 2025, and even it may cross 425 level as well. So Geo Finance is there, and further one stock is there. It's Bajaj Housing. Even Bajaj Housing looks very attractive, particularly on a daily chart. It has just listed stock. Right now, this stock is trading at 128 with strong support of 120. We may see a good upside momentum, particularly in this counter with upside up to the level of 150 and more up to the level of 195. So Geo Finance and Bajaj Housing both looks very attractive for this 2025.
Mm. 9:12, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get Kunal's view on HUDCO, on IREDA and IRFC. What are the charts telling you there, Kunal?
Well, if we talk about HUDCO right now, HUDCO is trading at 226. Further downside momentum would be there up to the level of 211 to 200. So we may see a further downside from the present level. And if you talk about other stocks, okay, can you please tell me the other stocks name?
If IRFC and IREDA.
Okay. If you talk about IRFC right now, IRFC is trading at 149 level, and I think stock has taken the support at 145 level. We may see a further upside momentum up to the level of 160, and if stock breaks this 160, then 166 would be there. So if anybody want to get into the stock, he or she can get into the stock with strict stop loss, with strict stop loss somewhere at 144. And second stock, sorry, I just forgot the name.
IRFC.
No, IFC,
Kunal,
IFC looks very
let's say
attractive
you
with
are
strict
not-
castle of
You
144.
are not partying.
No.
You are not partying and you are forgetting names. I think you should imbibe some good spirits. so that your memory comes back into action. See, Chakri is laughing. He knows what I'm trying to say. But, I know you don't imbibe spirits. And that's the reason, why our quarterly GDP is slipping. And then you don't party as well. So this is not a good nationalistic and patriotic way of life. Because of you, Nifty has slipped from 21% year to it was higher in September, and now look at it, poor fellow. And Chakri gave some interesting statistics. If you look at the dollar check, it is only up 2%. Now party tonight. Okay, markets are started. I'll just come back to you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 680 point cut on the Nifty IT index, 43,350. This is looking bad from the very start. Nifty Bank is down 0.5%, 260 points. Nifty started at 23,555, 96 points lower, and the Nifty 500 is down 89 points. Let's look at the pain, and the pain will mostly be coming from IT and banking stocks. Okay, TCS is down 55 rupees, 4103. Bajaj Finance is down 42 rupees now, 6846. ICICI Bank has slipped 12. What is HDFC Bank doing? Down 6 rupees 50. Nothing to be worried about, 1772. What is Reliance at? A rupee higher. Now this is interesting. 12 rupees, 12.11. Okay. How about Lever and ITC? They are providing some support for the Nifty, as is also Tata Motors. So these are the three in the green. There is a bit of a green take on SBI, which is good. 2 rupees 35 higher, 790. Okay, we'll shift focus immediately to what is happening in the FNO stocks. Gains on infrastructure stocks, BHEL up 1.35%, Siemens up 1.5%. Cummins ABB also amongst tops gainers. ABB is 1.2% higher. Cummins is adding 1.6%. Remember, Cummins yesterday slipped below 200 DMA. Please keep an eye out on this one. Amongst the most active counters, what looks good? Okay, nothing that I would like to point out immediately, but maybe, just maybe, Vedant, it was at a record high yesterday, 1% higher, 443. Very quickly to NSE 500, and then we'll go back to Chakri. There's nothing to talk about in the market at all. Okay. ITI Limited, top gainer, 4.5% higher, 396. This is again a very low float move that is coming in. Please be very, very careful. RVNL, I repeat again, 2% higher. Thermax from the infra pack is doing well, 3.5% higher. Sundaram Finance, 3% up. Mazgaon Dock, this is news driven, a 2,000 crore order coming in from the government to boost the efficacy of Indian submarines. 2.7% higher, 2331. NBCC, BDL, Cummins, Elecon are the ones that are up. So it's going to be an infrastructure day. Let us see how it pans out. But so far, so good. Kunal, anything that catches your attention in the opening quotes?
Well, right now, if you talk about particularly Nifty, Nifty is trading with a strong support of 23,500. Okay, and let's say if Nifty is taking the support, and the few stocks are there in which I am seeing a good upside momentum. Particularly Voltas is there right now. Voltas is trading at 1760 level, and further upside would be there because Voltas has been trading with a strict support. Not only this stock has been trading above its 50 days, 200 days moving average, so we may see a further upside momentum in the counter. Counter is trading at 1760. Downside support comes at 1675. We can see a first target at 1840, and if stock breaks this 1840, then further upside would be there up to the level of 2000. Not only this, if stock breaks this 2000, then one way upside momentum would be there up to the level of 2200. So these stocks looks very attractive, particularly daily, weekly and monthly chart. One should definitely go for this stock for short term to medium term and long term.
Okay, let's look at the pockets that are doing well. Metals are pulling up 0.3% higher. Oil and gas, PSU banks. You also have some auto stocks that are pushing higher. So you have ONGC as the top performer on the Nifty right now, followed by Coal India, BEL, State Bank of India. These are the pockets that are doing well on the Nifty. Then you also have stocks like, the metals are recovering after yesterday's losses, but IT is still down. Second day in a row, like yesterday also, it was an underperforming one. It recovered some bit towards the end of the session, but you still have Tata Consultancy Services, Infosys, HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra. All four top losers are from the IT pack right now. But broader markets again are showing us some interesting names right there that we can probably mark for our viewers. Sundaram breaks, we've been consistently marking. The stock is again up and about in trade today. Then you also have Godfrey Phillips, that's up by 4.3%. Of course, ITC was marked earlier. That's also from the same industry, is working well. Then you also have stocks like GMR Power, again for the second day in a row, that's buzzing sharply higher in trade. You also have ITI, sharp movement yesterday, another 5% higher in trade today. Kunal, do you have a view on ITI?
Yes, definitely. If you talk about ITI is trading at 403 level, and since last 1 month, it has given very good upside momentum. Particularly, at one time it was trading somewhere around 220 level. Right now, it is trading at 400 level. So more than 80% return that we have seen in this counter in last 1 month. Right now, counter is trading at 404 level. I think one should wait and watch because risk reward is not in favor to create a long position. But definitely, if one is holding this stock in portfolio, then please hold the stock because further upside would be there up to the level of 440. And if stock breaks this 440, then further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 510. So definitely, one should wait for fresh entry. But if it's there in the portfolio, then hold the stock. We may see a good upside momentum in the counter.
Uh, I think it's the PSU pack that is in some sort of positive shape, although one really does not know till how long will this buying last. Okay, NBCC 3% higher. ONGC and oil have started to pick up because crude oil prices globally have inched above $71 a barrel. So you have ONGC at 237 and Oil India at you have Oil India is also in the green. I just saw it on my screen. So are the refineries. IOC up a percent, 135.84. Defense is in good shape. We have Masgaon leading the rally, 2% higher. BDL 1.2% higher. HAL and BEL doing well as well. I just wanted to see the hotel stocks and get Chakri's view on Indian hotels. Let me just mark the hotels first. Okay, we are led by Taj GVK, 2.5% higher, 392. Park Hotels is in the green, not much of a trend. Chakri, for old timers like you and me, it's life coming back to a full circle. We saw ITC Hotels as a listed entity, and then ITC merged it into itself. 25 years later, we have ITC Hotels coming back into the picture. What is your view on this standalone stock, and what would you advise retailers to do?
You're absolutely right. Now going into the new year, when ITC Hotels becomes a standalone company, ITC will continue owning about 40% of the company. ITC Hotels will have, I think, about 3,200, 3,300 crores of revenue, and the company will spend a capex of about 200 to 300 crores every year. Its balance sheet will be very strong. It's a handover from rewind back to 25 years when the balance sheet was not great and it merged itself into ITC. Now it's going into a zero debt balance sheet, ITC Hotels, and will have the ability to therefore do the capex. I think for a hotel company, which is an asset heavy business, many of them are going asset light. Having that kind of an zero debt is a good shape. So I think it's definitely worth considering ITC Hotels as a standalone company.
Okay. Another thing that Chakri I wanted to ask you is going into 2025, is there a word of caution on any part of the market that you'd like to advise for all our viewers? Is there, is there a space that one should completely stay away from in 2025?
Uh, as we were discussing earlier, I think until the run up to the budget on February 1st, the markets have corrected quite a bit now already. So I doubt there is much downside. So there will largely be a listless market between now and February 1st. And then in between, there'll be a lot of noise on expectations of the budget. So I think to wait and watch by the sidelines and make an incremental investment. Stocks which are more export facing, IT, pharma, textiles, those are the ones I would look at, and more which are resilient, which is the PSUs are actually far more resilient in this kind of a choppy market.
924 is what is there in front of us, and Sakshi, it's pharma and pharma all the way. Let's also keep an eye on what the advanced decline ratio is. I'm sure the only index in the green is the pharma index. It's a top performer, 0.3% higher, 23,317. The same story, 840 stocks in the green at the beginning, 1356 in the red. So the advanced decline is already negative as we begin the day, but it's pharma all the way. Look at Suven Pharma. Amazing rally that's happening here, 6% higher. Let me just look at this one. Yes, 1211, 6% higher, and this is the start of a swing trade. Yesterday's volume was substantial. Kunal, what are the charts of Suven Pharma telling you?
Well, Sailji, if we talk about Suven Pharma, right now stock is trading at 1200 level, and it has taken the support of its previous bottom, which was placed at 1130, 1140 level. Even on the early chart, stock has given a breakout of its copper handle formation, and afterwards it is trading somewhere around 1212 level. Now, further upside would be there up to the level of 1260 to 1350 level, but I would not recommend it to go for fresh buy because risk reward is not in favor for creating a fresh buy. But if this stock is already in the portfolio, then please hold this stock. We may say good upside momentum up to the level of 1350.
Okay. Got that. Let us again look at some of the other pockets that are buzzing. BEL is definitely up and about. Within the PSU space, there's ONGC, there's Coal India, BHEL moving up. You also have HAL now pulling up higher. REC, PFC are up and about. So the oil and gas space, you have the power financier space, you have some railways and some defense also pockets. All of these are buzzing. From the defense pack, Kunal, do you have a topic?
Well, I'll be not talking particularly on one stock, but I'll be talking as a whole defense sector. As Bajaj is there on this first fab, and we may see a good upside momentum on this the overall defense counter. HL, BML, BEL, many stocks are there. Cochin CPI is there, Garden CP is there. So I think one should particularly watch on these sectors as a cyclical, rebalancing, and all the stocks right now has been trading with a strong support of its recent bottom. Not only this, all the stocks have been trading above its 20 days moving average. So I think this is the perfect time where one should divert their portfolio for this defense stocks. So not only one stock, but I think one should keep an eye on overall defense stocks for a rebalancing portfolio.
There's no stopping ITI 413.85, and the kind of blocks that are happening on a single tick are phenomenal. Just now, 7.9 crores traded in a single block, 1,91,000 shares. Another block of 90,716 shares traded. So this is looking good. And Sakshi, what started moving after yesterday's move on Zomato is Swiggy. Swiggy at the moment is 1.3% higher. We'll keep an eye out on this one as well. And what is Zomato doing? I don't have it in front of my screen here. Zomato is 1.4% lower, 278. Keep an eye out on Swiggy, ladies and gentlemen. Kunal, you will prefer Swiggy or you will prefer Zomato when you order a meal tonight? Or you are going to have home cooked food? Don't tell me this.
Well, I'll definitely prefer Zomato, and I'll follow this instruction from you. I'm not going to like we will order from outside, and I'll prefer Zomato only. Uh, if we talk about Zomato right now,
Okay,
Zomato
you
is
are very kind. Thank you.
Zomato is trading at 278 level with strict support at 265 level. I think stock has
Yes.
already taken the support of its HT indicators, and we may see a bounce back momentum, particularly in these
Hmm.
counters. And but obviously, you know, Zomato and Swiggy will be in the favor, particularly for these 2 days, first 31st January and 1st January. So a number of order will be increased for this counter, and it will eventually help to Q and Q result. So one should get into this counter with strict stop loss with 265 upside momentum that we can say the 300, and if stock breaks this 300, then further upside would be there up to the level of 320. So stocks looks very attractive.
Okay, Chakri, to you then, what's your New Year resolution going to be?
Hopefully, we're waiting for a bigger, better market in 2025. And so let's watch the space.
Okay, but do you also have any stock that you would want to really place your bets on? What will be the next trend of 2025?
Amongst the large cap, I think it would be State Bank of India.
Okay.
And and uh, and then, amongst the diversified conglomerates, rather industrial facing ones, again, we talked about it earlier, Adani Ports is a market leader.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Chakri, for being with us on this show to share with us all of those insights like you always do with our viewers. Like I said, may we see you more often on Business Today. And yes, waiting for you to come down to Delhi and enjoy that plate of chola bhatura with us over a fantastic chat on markets as well. Thank you so much for being with us on the show, Chakri.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you and all your viewers.
Thank you so much. All right, 104 points lower, 23,539 on the Nifty. What else is buzzing? Well, you have pharma, PSU banks, metals and oil and gas, and slight gains coming in on the auto space that can be looked at for now. Kunal, coming to you. Chakri said PSU bank, he's looking at SBI. Are you looking at some of those as well within the PSU banking basket?
Well, if you talk about PSU right now, PSU basket is trading at 6,470, 6,480. Few stocks are there which looks particularly attractive. Definitely Canara Bank is there, IOB is there, Maharashtra Bank is there, which are trading with positive gain. Let's talk on Canara Bank. Right now, Canara Bank is trading at 99.65 level. And as we said, Nifty has been trading with a strong support of 23,500. So we may see some sort of bounce back momentum, and that bounce back will be very helpful, particularly for PSUs counters. So one should get into the stock in Canara Bank at present level, which takes stop loss somewhere around 97.50. First target that we can see is 102, and if stock breaks this 102, then further upside would be there up to the level of 106. So amongst the PSU, Canara Bank looks very attractive.
Okay. Got that. So that's as far as Canara Bank is concerned. Kunal, let's also discuss with you some of the other pockets then. Within the private sector banks, do you think the underperformers of the past will finally have their way in 2025? Stocks like IndusInd Bank, that's been the worst performer within the private banking space. We have Bandhan, IDFC First, Kotak. I think they have all disappointed the street and the investors. Will they finally come up in 2025?
Well, if we talk about private banks, then I can talk particularly on the IndusInd Bank, because I am not seeing any promising momentum, particularly in the IndusInd Bank. But two banks are there on which I have been like keeping an eye, particularly two banks, Kotak Bank and HDFC Bank. Kotak Bank is trading at 1766 level, up by 1.5 percentage, and HDFC Bank trading at 1776 level. Now, HDFC Bank has recently given a breakout of its, double top formations, and it has been trading above 20 and 50 days moving average. So further upside momentum would be there, and HDFC Bank up to the level of 1850 to 1900 level. Whereas if we talk about Kotak Bank right now, it is trading at 1766 level. Further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 1900. I'm not talking about any small momentum, but I'm talking about 1900 level. So let's keep aside this Bandhan Bank, IndusInd Bank, and particularly as IDFC Bank, because no promising momentum is there in the IDFC Bank. But please keep on this Kotak Bank and HDFC Bank.
Okay, 9:34, and Sakshi, it's pharma, and pharma all the way. Look at Concord Bio. This is a very little known counter, but doing extremely well on both the charts as well as on the business as well. 2290, 4.4% higher. In terms of other gainers, let's dig a little deeper into the pharma space and point out the winners. Aurobindo is 1.3% higher, 1317. Remember, yesterday we had with us Kunal Rambia. Aurobindo Pharma was his top technical pick at that point of time. Mankind 1% higher, 1% uptick on Zydus Life, Lupin Glenmark in the green, Laurus Alchem Granules posting modest gains. So please keep an eye out on this one. Are there any volume buzzers? Well, it's Lupin and Lupin all the way. They've purchased the Indian portfolio for anti-diabetes drug from Eli Lilly, and one of their competitors has delayed the launch of a major product in the US. So two positives coming here. The volume is also substantial for Lupin. 31% of 5-day average is already done in the first 20 minutes of trade. Stock is at a record high, 23.29. What else is moving? There is activity in the government insurers, buying coming back into GIC Ray, into NICL, stock showing strong traction. And for the moment, apart from Lupin, there is Newgen and there is ITI. So one pharma, one telecom, and one software stock, which is at a record high on this very tepid day with no volume. Nifty down 96 points, Bank Nifty down 147 points, and a 2 percentage point cut on the Nifty IT index. In the same breath, I want to see what Mafang is doing, because it should be okay, 136.33, down about 40 paisa. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Well, Shell, some more spaces that are pulling up are autos, for instance. Just wanted to discuss that also with Kunal, especially stocks like Tata Motors is something that I wanted to discuss with you. 0.5% higher at 737 right now. What do you think is in the offing for Tata Motors in 2025? Will it be again disappointing the street, or do you think a reversal of some kinds could be in the offing? A lot of investors have been invested in this space. They've seen higher levels upwards of 1100, 1200 odd, but now they've been seeing last 6 months a 26% drop on this one, and it's been absolutely consolidating in a flat range. What would you say?
Well, right now Tata Motors is trading at 738 level, and definitely, I'm seeing a promising upside momentum, because if you see month on month sales data, then again it's premium car Nexon is leading the top, particularly in the compact SUV segment. So definitely this will have a better impact, and yes. JLR is also doing a wonderful in other China market and the European market, so it has a positive impact on the overall Tata Motors set. Right now, stock is trading at a 737 level, and we may see an upside movement up to the level of 765. And if stock breaks this 765, then further upside would be there up to the level of 830. While downside strong support comes at 710 level. So one should get into the stock with the strict stop loss at 710. Whereas if we talk about the medium term to long term, then I think this is a perfect time where one should get into the stock, but an upside target up to the level of 920 to 1000 level.
9:38. Let's take a detour into the market, ladies and gentlemen, and let's, for a change, focus into something which is moving in the green. And I think it's trend. Sakshi was asking which is the next trend for 2025. Let's try and focus on the present trend of 2024. Well, it's recovered from an intraday low of 68.17, and is now 1.2% higher. Sakshi, no matter how hard you try to focus on some parts of the market, but it's just pharma that is sort of staring at you in your face. Ikka Dukka Bank, which is Canara Bank, Kunal just recently marked that. Look at the way Mankind is moving. Now 2% higher, 2.4% higher. Remember, Mankind just had a block deal, a pref of 3,000 crores. So that is also coming back into action. Concord is doing pretty well. I've just marked it a minute ago. What else is on the move? Yesterday we had a very strong move in Triveni. It hit a high, and now Balrampur Chini has started to move 0.5% higher. But again, not much of a respite. Look at Concord. Natco Pharma is on the move. Concord is now up 6%. That's a very, very strong move. Let's get a technical view in from our friend Kunal. Kunal, do you track Concord Bio?
Well, Concord Bio, yes, right now stock is trading at 2321 level, and it seems that the stock is trying to giving a breakout of its cup and handle formation, which is a continuation formation. And if stock sustain at this level at during the closing time, I think further upside momentum would be there up to the level of its recent top, which is placed at 2664 level. So definitely, we may see some good upside momentum that counter one should get into the stock at present level. Downside strong support comes at 2150 level. Now SL is at a little bit bigger level, but this is a perfect SL looking at the volatility. So one should get into the stock at present level with strict stop loss at the 2140-50 level. First target we can see the 2660, and if stock breaks this 2660, then further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 2000. So this stocks looks particularly very good amongst the other pharma stocks.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as this space is concerned. Let's again look at some of the other interesting names, if any, that are spotting up as far as the broader markets are concerned. A recently listed one, Dam Capital, that's up 8.5% in trade today. You also have Avanti Feeds, that's up 7%. Apex Foods, frozen foods, that's up 6.5%. RS Software is up by about 5.5%, all within the broader markets that are pulling up. Then apart from this, Electrotherm is up 5%. You have some of the hotel stocks, the smaller ones that are buzzing, like in Asian or a Blue Coast. These are the ones that are buzzing higher. Chakri was bullish on this entire hospitality space. Kunal, are you also looking at some of the favorites right there? And I would also like your view on Ease My Trip planners. I think today the stock has cracked quite a bit, and this is after the promoters are going to be selling along, a big stake of about 14% in the company. These are some of the reports that flash in 9.5% lower. So talk to us about the overall tourism space, hospitality space. Where are you keeping an eye out on, and what should investor strategy be for somebody who's stuck at higher levels for this one? Ease My Trip.
Let's first talk on Is My Trip, because right now stock is trading with a downside momentum. It has given a gap down opening, and further downside momentum would be there up to the level of 1440, 14.40, and further downside would be there if stock breaks this bottom up to the level of 12 to 10. So if you talk about monthly and weekly chart, stock has been trading in a strong downtrend momentum. So based on this downside momentum, as we said, 12 is the level, and if it breaks, then 11. So I think if you have this stock in your portfolio, please exit from this stock right now, time being, because means I'm not seeing any promising momentum in the counter for short term to medium term, and it may have a pain in your portfolio. So please exit from this counter, from these counters. And if you talk about other counters, then yeah, definitely in hospitality, I think Indian hotels looks very attractive on a daily chart. If you talk about its target size, then we may see a good upside momentum. Right now, stock is trading at 865 level, and one should get into the stock at present level with strict stop loss downside at 840. And if you talk about upper side level, then 920 would be the first target, and if stock breaks this 920, then 988 would be those 988 would be there. So I think one should exit from the is my trip and shift to the Indian hotels.
Okay, we'll do that. But let's look at the kind of sell off that is coming in the IT space. Huge downtick, almost 300, 1,000 point. Yes, it's now down 1,000 points on the IT index, 2.27% lower. And that's mainly because of Infosys, 433 points, TCS 237 points, HCL Tech 100 points in the red because of the moves that are on the IT index. Sell off is seen in KPIT 2% lower, Birla Soft 1.9% lower, and of course there is selling pressure on Tata Elxsi 1.8% lower. Sakshi and I used to track a company called NetWeb Technologies. This was an IPO that came for, I think, 450 rupees, listed at 850, went all the way up to 3000, and now money being taken off. So that's it is, ladies and gentlemen. Sakshi and I have nothing positive to say about the market except for the very strong rally that's happening in the pharma space, and all sorts of counters have now joined the bandwagon. There is a fresh move on rights from the railway pack, as I have been pointing out, that budget focused themes are coming back in action. And the good part with rights is that it's bouncing from 200-day DMA, 3.5% higher, and we've seen an all-time high of 400 rupees. So there is a margin of safety as well. Kunal, what are the charts of rights telling you?
Well, if you pull out the chart of rights, right now rights is trading at 276 level. Stock has a strong support of its previous bottom, which was placed at 265 level. Not only this, if we talk about the weekly chart, then even on a weekly chart, stock has a strong support of its 260, 65 level, and right now stock is trading at 276 level. I think one should get into the stock with strict stop loss at 265 level. Upper side first target we can say it's 300 level, and if stock breaks this 300 level, then further upside would be there up to the level of 310 level. So based on the momentum theory, based on the volatility that we are seeing in the counter, I think we may see a good upside momentum with strict stop loss at 265.
Okay, so the losses are increasing in the markets, and what's pulling down the Nifty now is the IT index that's down by over 2%. The IT index is seeing sharp sell-off, be it the large caps or the mid caps. Persistent is down nearly 4%. You have Emphasis that's down nearly 3%. Infosys is down 2.4%. TCS is down over 2%. Coforge is down over 2%, Tech Mahindra 2% down, Wipro, HCL Tech, all of them nearly 2% down in trade. The entire index is now seeing sharp sell-off across the board. Kunal, what are you looking at? What's leading to this breakdown in the IT space?
Well, if you talk about overall IT space, right now IT is trading at 42,900 level, minus by 3% momentum. But obviously, we are witnessing this downside momentum based on the US market only. Further downside momentum would be there in the IT up to the level of 42,600 to 42,400. During yesterday's trading session, there was a crackdown, particularly in the Nasdaq and Dow Jones, and we are seeing that particular negative sentiment today in our Indian IT markets right now. If we talk about particular counters, LTTS, LTI, HL Tech, Coforge, they all are trading by minus 2%, and further downside momentum would be there because this all the stocks have been trading below its 20 days moving average, which is like a trend indicator for the counters for the time being. So further downside would be then, and I'm not suggesting to go for a fresh short, particularly in this counter, because volatility is too high, and when volatility is high, it's been difficult to set a proper stop loss level. So if anyone has a position, particularly in this counter, and it's for a positional basis, then please exit from this IT counters. Further pain will be there.
Well, we've been suffering pain from the middle of October, so we've got used to it. But let's look at new highs, if any, that makes sense. We've marked ITI, Lupin, and New Gen. There is a new high on PNG Electroplast. This is a company that again did a very recent QIP. EPAC, there is no let up, although intraday profit booking is happening. Sakshi marked Ind Swift yesterday. It's again up 5% today. Asian Hotels is doing pretty well, 5% higher. That's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing much to talk about. There is so many counters that have given 7, 8, 9% negative returns. Sakshi marked Ease My Trip. There is Bajaj holding that yesterday was up dramatically. A bit of profit booking happening here. Nothing much that I would like to talk about on the losers. 4% downtake on Lodha. Kernex is down 4%. These are the stocks that are on the radar, but fairly strong buying happening on REITs now, 4% higher. Titagarh Wagons 7% higher. RVNL 2.7% higher. Jupiter Wagons 1.5% higher. That's the only pocket of strength that is there, and Nifty has slipped below December's intraday low also, now 23,511. So now we are looking at November's low, which was 23,263. So let us see how that goes. But apart from a few hospital stocks, a lot of pharma and some railway, there is nothing much to report, ladies and gentlemen, on the positive side.
Yes, clearly very thick trade now. On the Nifty itself, from the 50 stocks, 38 are now down in the red. So you can see the breadth that is reducing in terms of the gains at this point in time. Within the Nifty next 50 list, are there any interesting names? I could name a few. Havells is moving up 1.2% higher at 1670. Then apart from this, you have Siemens, that's up 0.4% higher. Bosch is up by about 0.2%. Some of the pockets within the consumer durables that one can definitely look at. On Havells particularly, what is your thought, Kunal? Do you think even now investors can look at this one?
Well, if you talk about Havells right now, Havells is trading at 1670 level, and it seems that the stock is going to form its morning star pattern, which is a bullish reversal formation. So we may see some bullish reversal momentum in the counter from the present level. Downside support comes at 1630 level, and the stock is taking the support of a rising trend line as well. So one should get into the stock at with strict stop loss at 1630 level. First target we can see in the counter is at 1700 level, and if stock breaks this 1700 level, then further upside would be there up to the level of 1780. So in terms of risk reward, this stock looks very attractive. One should get into the stock.
Got that. Let us again look at PSG
Well,
banks. I
Sakshi,
think. Yes, Shel. Yes, Shel.
Sakshi, I think time to look at Titagarh Wagons.
Okay.
This is something that had moved fairly sharply, then came for a series of sell-offs for the last 5 sessions in particular. So maybe a swing trade is in the offing, and for whatever little time that it is there, there is a sharp move coming into some railway counters. So Titagarh is something that you can look at. REITs I marked at 4% higher. Now it's 8% higher, 7.3% higher at least. Titagarh for you, Uh, Kunal, what are the charts telling you?
Well, even I'm also watching this counter. Right now, stock is trading at 1138 level. Stock has been trading with its strong support of its upward hedging trend line. Not only this, we are seeing some positive momentum based on the RSI indicator as well. So, further upside would be there. And let's say if stock gives a close at present level, then bullish ceramic formation will be there and confirmed by the counter. So one should get into the stock at present level. Downside strong support comes at 1095 level. So we will keep 1095 as our SL level. If we talk about target wise, then first target comes at 1188, and if stock breaks this 1188, then further upside would be there up to the level of 1280. So stocks looks very attractive, particularly on a smaller time frame, as it has been trading with its upward rising trend line.
Okay. Got that. So that's as far as the space is concerned. Very, very thin trade right now, viewers. Very less to talk about in terms of key stocks and ideas. In the morning trade, we are now down 125 points on the Nifty alone at this point in time. Kunal, let me just understand from you, is there any mid or small cap space sector that you're looking at for the new year? Broader markets, where should one keep in attention?
Well, frankly saying, I'm not keeping an eye particularly on the small cap and mid cap
Okay.
because because these are the high betas counters, and even they tend to underperform when market is performing. So if market is trading with a 12 to 13% lower from its recent high, I think that's a perfect time where one should particularly focus on the energy level, where one can keep an eye on large cap counters.
Okay, got that. We'll keep an eye out on that space. And one more thing that investors can look at is the IPO space again. Viewers, Unimec Aerospace will list today the 500 crore rupees IPO with a massive subscription of 175 times. And remember, ahead of the listing, we were also seeing a grey market premium, a strong one on this one. I think to the tune of almost 625 rupees at the upper end of 785. So it was an indication that it could list at around 1400 odd levels. Yes, we have the settled price now in the pre-open space for Unimec. So it has settled 85% higher over the issue price, that was 785, and it could be listing at 1460. That means a 675 rupee jump or a premium listing is what you can expect for this one, leading to almost gains of 85.9%. That's something that you can definitely look at, and that could be the bright spot in the markets today, which is otherwise weak. Share.
Sakshi, the other thing that's working out well is the call on fertilizer stocks. Now in top momentum is the two counters that we often talk about, RCF, and you have a sharp move coming into FACT. So please keep these themes in mind that we highlight in the morning. RCF is now 2.6% higher. FACT, let me just tell you what FACT is doing. FACT at 968 is 1 percentage point higher, and slowly but surely you will see GSFC, you will see GNFC, NFL all coming back in top form. So this is one space. You have railways to hide into, and it's the PSU theme ahead of the budget that is moving in stream. So railways, a bit of banks, some fertilizers, and pharma is what is in the green. Otherwise, we have a new December low on the last day of December. Sakshi, yours. Let's wrap it.
For being with us on the morning edition on the last trading session of 2024. Again, it's a lackluster start. There is lesser expectation that the markets will enthuse us with sharp moves today. Again, it's going to be a somber close, but we will be closing in probably around 23,500, and that's what the hope is, 129 points lower in trade. Barring the PSU banks, pharma and oil and gas, rest of the sectors have all slipped. It's the IT pack that is the weakest link today, 2.3% lower. We have the real estate that slipped by 1%. Mid caps also that are down by 0.8% in trade. Consumer durables, banks, autos, infra, FMCG, they've all slipped and a lot of volatility can be seen. Top stocks on the Nifty are BEL, ONGC, Kotak Mahindra Bank, State of Bank of India, Sun Pharma, Tata Steel. Whereas on the lower side again you have Infosys, TCS, Tech Mahindra, Wipro, Adani Enterprises now giving up some of the gains that were seen yesterday, 2% lower in trade. On the F&O pack, you have Nalco, Oro Pharma, ABB India, Hudco and Glenmark Pharma as among those stocks that are buzzing. Glenmark was marked by Kunal earlier as to the stock that he's watching out for today. Persistent is down in the F&O space, 4.4% odd. CAMS, Oracle Financial Services, Indian Bank and Cyient are the other losers at this point in time. We'll wrap it up at that, viewers, but do stay tuned. Throughout the course of the day, we're going to be focusing a lot on how you should be really looking forward to and preparing your investment strategies for 2025. So stay tuned. Another space, IT, is something that I wanted to understand. How are you really looking at that? You know, the rupee is at a record low. Again, like I said, Donald Trump's comments first after he assumes office will be the first trigger for us to really look at. And of course, the earnings will be important for us to watch out for. Is IT space, is the risk reward still in place, or do you think right now because of the elevated valuations and the uncertainties, there could still be a no-go area?
IT, due to the weakening in rupees, I think IT companies can deliver a good result maybe in this quarter and next quarter. But मुझे लग रहा है overall IT में there is a possibility of the profit booking because we have seen a very robust rally in last 2 to 3 months. अब यहाँ से थोड़ा सा मुझे लगता है एक जो है weakness का signal मिल रहा है. So मुझे लगता है कि IT में थोड़ी सी अभी selling और continue हो सकती है. IT index 43,700 के आसपास है. There is a small stop loss of 4,300. We can keep a stop loss of 4,300, and we can hold the IT stocks once this level break and close below 43,000 level. Then again we can expect 39,000 level on the lower side in the Nifty IT index.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share, and subscribe.